Today is the day. Right now, as you watch this, the Ring of Fire solar eclipse is either happening or its energy is already moving through your life, whether you're aware of it or not. Wendy Morgan, who has tracked eclipse symptoms in thousands of people across decades of spiritual research, says the 3 days surrounding this eclipse, February 17th, 18th, and 19th, are unlike anything she's documented before. People are reporting strange symptoms they can't explain. And the strange things you've been feeling since you woke up this morning, they're not random. They're data. Let's decode what your soul is actually receiving right now. Why today feels strangely different. You probably noticed something was off before you could even articulate it. Maybe you woke up earlier than usual, pulled from sleep by a restlessness that had no name. Maybe your morning felt thick, like moving through something denser than air. Maybe ordinary tasks, the ones you've done 1,000 times without thinking, suddenly required conscious effort, as if your autopilot had been switched off without your permission. That disorientation isn't a sign that something's wrong with you. It's a sign that something's different about today. And different isn't the same as wrong. The eclipse energy doesn't announce itself politely. It simply arrives, and your body, which is far more sensitive than your mind gives it credit for, felt it before your eyes even opened. Wendy Morgan has documented this phenomenon across hundreds of people who weren't aware an eclipse was occurring, people who hadn't checked any spiritual websites or astrological calendars, who had no framework for eclipse energy, and yet reported the same constellation of feelings on the day of a significant eclipse. Something pulling at them, something requiring more presence than usual, a heightened quality to sensory experience, colors slightly more vivid, sounds slightly more resonant, emotions sitting closer to the surface than normal. This isn't confirmation bias or collective suggestion. It's measurable sensitivity to a genuine shift in the electromagnetic and energetic environment. The eclipse changes something real, and human beings, whatever we might think about our technological sophistication, are still fundamentally creatures of this earth. We respond to what the cosmos does. What makes today feel strange isn't just the eclipse itself, it's the convergence. The eclipse energy collides with whatever is already alive in your personal life, whatever tension has been building, whatever truth has been gathering, whatever change has been hovering just outside the door. The eclipse doesn't bring those things from outside. It brings them from inside, pushing what was deep to the surface, what was potential into actuality, what was vague into sharp and undeniable clarity. And that surfacing, it has a texture, a feeling. The strange quality of today isn't cosmic interference. It's your own life becoming more visible to you. And once you understand that, the strangeness stops being unsettling. It starts being interesting. Wendy Morgan's eclipse symptom research. For over 2 decades, Wendy Morgan has been doing something that very few researchers bother with. She's been carefully, methodically, consistently collecting reports from ordinary people about what they experienced during eclipse windows. Not spiritual teachers or advanced practitioners. Ordinary people. Retired school teachers, truck drivers, nurses, accountants. People who would never describe themselves as particularly sensitive or spiritually oriented. And the patterns emerging from that research are impossible to dismiss as coincidence or wishful thinking. Specific symptoms cluster around specific types of eclipses with remarkable consistency. And the symptom cluster for today's Ring of Fire eclipse, it's one she's documented before, with particular intensity, during particularly significant moments of collective change. The symptoms she tracks fall into several categories: physical, emotional, cognitive, and what she calls threshold symptoms. Experiences that blur the boundary between ordinary consciousness and something more expanded. The physical symptoms are perhaps the most surprising to people because they're tangible, real, undeniable. Pressure in the head, particularly around the temples and the crown. Unexplained fatigue that doesn't respond to rest. digestive disturbance with no dietary cause, a buzzing or tingling in the extremities, a sensitivity to light and sound that wasn't present the day before. These aren't psychosomatic. They're the body's response to genuine shifts in the energetic environment, and recognizing them as eclipse-related rather than signs of illness removes the anxiety they can create. The cognitive symptoms are equally consistent. Difficulty concentrating on linear tasks while simultaneously experiencing unusual clarity about big-picture questions, an inability to care about things that seemed important yesterday, a sudden, almost irrational knowing about situations that have been confusing, thoughts arriving fully formed rather than building through logical sequence, and a quality of time perception that most people find difficult to describe, hours that feel both long and compressed, moments that stretch beyond their normal duration, a sense of existing slightly outside the ordinary flow of linear time. These aren't malfunctions, they're upgrades, temporary, sometimes disorienting, but ultimately in service of a consciousness that's trying to expand. Your body is receiving cosmic information. Here's something most people don't realize about the human body. It's an antenna, not metaphorically, actually. The human nervous system is exquisitely sensitive to electromagnetic fluctuations, geomagnetic shifts, and changes in the ionosphere. Scientists have documented correlations between solar events and human physiology. Changes in heart rate variability, shifts in brainwave patterns, alterations in hormonal balance. Your body isn't separate from the cosmos. It's embedded in it, responsive to it. And during an eclipse, when the electromagnetic relationship between the Earth, Moon, and Sun undergoes a rapid, significant shift, your body registers that change at a cellular level. Every cell in your body contains its own electromagnetic field, and those fields respond to the larger field they exist within. The eclipse changes the field, and your body, faithfully, silently, without your conscious direction, responds. The information your body receives during an eclipse isn't random noise. It has content. It's directional. It points towards specific things in your life that need attention, adjustment, or release. Physical tension in specific parts of the body during eclipse windows is often correlated with specific emotional or psychological themes. Pressure in the chest often accompanies unexpressed grief or suppressed love. Tightness in the throat carries the weight of unspoken truth. Pain in the lower back frequently signals anxiety about foundational security. These correlations aren't absolute, and they're not diagnoses, but they're worth paying attention to as information rather than dismissing as inconvenience. Your body is the most honest communicator you have, and today, it's speaking more loudly than usual. The key to receiving what your body is transmitting is to slow down enough to actually listen, which is precisely the opposite of what most people do when they're feeling physically uncomfortable. The instinct is to push through, to medicate, to distract, to keep going. But eclipse body symptoms respond better to attention than to suppression. What does the tension in your shoulders actually feel like? What image or memory or fear arises when you sit with the discomfort in your chest? What does your gut instinct say about the situation you've been overthinking? The body isn't speaking in language. It's speaking in sensation, in image, in felt sense. And if you can learn to be still long enough, patient enough, curious enough to receive that communication, today's eclipse will deliver personal information that no external source could provide. Your body knows, and today it's finally loud enough to be heard. But the physical symptoms are only the opening act of these 3 pivotal days. Ahead in this video, we'll walk through exactly what shifts on February 17th, 18th, and 19th, why each day carries a completely different energy, and what happens if you let the 19th pass without doing what it's asking. This is where it gets specific and deeply personal. February 17th, the eclipse strikes first. Today, February 17th, is the day of impact. The moment the eclipse is most astronomically precise is also the moment its energetic signature is most potent. And what this day is designed to do is strike, not gently, not gradually, but with the decisive force of something that can no longer be delayed. Whatever has been building in the background of your life, the unresolved situation, the suppressed truth, the decision that's been hovering just outside your willingness to make it, today is the day it moves from background to foreground, from peripheral to central, from something you've been managing to something that demands response. The eclipse doesn't create the issue, but it refuses to allow it to remain invisible. And some of you reading this today already know exactly what's being pointed at. February 17th carries a particular flavor of energy that astrologers describe as revelatory. Things become clear, not comfortable, not easy, but clear. The fog that's allowed ambiguity to feel safe lifts, and what's underneath the fog is whatever is actually true, about a relationship, about a choice, about yourself. This clarity doesn't always arrive with fanfare. Sometimes it's a quiet, devastating knowing that drops into your awareness during an ordinary moment. You're washing dishes, and suddenly you just know. You know what needs to happen, what you've been avoiding, what you've been pretending not to see. That quiet clarity is the eclipse speaking directly to your inner knowing, bypassing the defenses your mind normally maintains. And once it speaks, it can't be unsaid. The practical advice for today, February 17th specifically, is to treat it as a day of reception rather than action. Receive what the eclipse is showing you. Write it down if you can. Sit with it. Don't immediately act on everything that surfaces, because eclipse revelations often require processing before they're ready to be acted upon. The initial clarity is real, but the fullness of its implications may take time to understand. Today is for receiving and acknowledging, not for burning bridges or making irreversible choices in the heat of the energy. The action comes, but not necessarily today. Today, just let yourself see clearly, let the fog lift, and don't look away from what becomes visible when it does. February 18th, the emotional aftermath begins. If February 17th is the lightning bolt, February 18th is the thunder, the emotional wave that follows the initial strike, and it can feel enormous, disproportionate even to whatever triggered it. You might find yourself crying without knowing why, or angry about something that normally wouldn't touch you, or flooded with a sadness that feels older than this moment. A sadness that seems to be drawing from a well that goes much deeper than today's circumstances. That depth is real. The eclipse doesn't just surface current emotions, it reaches back. It stirs what's been settled at the bottom for years, sometimes decades. Things you thought you'd dealt with, things you thought you'd gotten past, surfacing now not to punish you, but to be finally, genuinely completed. Wendy Morgan calls February 18th the emotional audit day, because what surfaces on this day has a quality of accounting, a reckoning with what's been stored that shouldn't have been. Emotions that were pushed down because expressing them wasn't safe, wasn't convenient, wasn't socially acceptable. They come up now, and they want acknowledgement, not suppression. The worst thing you can do on February 18th is reach for your usual emotional management strategies. The busyness, the distraction, the I'm fine performance. Because the eclipse energy sees through those strategies today. It's like trying to hold a door shut against a flood. The water finds the cracks. Better to open the door intentionally and direct the flow consciously than to fight it until it breaks through in a way you can't control. The gift hidden inside February 18th's emotional intensity is cleansing. Genuine, deep cleansing of accumulated emotional residue that's been weighing on you without your full awareness. People who allow themselves to feel what surfaces on this day, without judging it, without rushing through it, without immediately analyzing it, they report something extraordinary afterward. a lightness, a spaciousness, a freedom in the chest that they'd forgotten was possible. Because emotions aren't dangerous when they move. They're only dangerous when they're stuck. And the eclipse is offering a rare opportunity for movement, for release, for the kind of emotional clearing that would normally take months of intentional work to achieve. February 18th is difficult precisely because it's delivering something precious. And the willingness to be uncomfortable is the price of the gift. February 19th, integration or overwhelm. By February 19th, the eclipse has done its primary work. The revelation has landed, the emotional wave has moved through, and you're left standing in a landscape that looks recognizable, but feels different. And the quality of February 19th depends almost entirely on what you did with the preceding 2 days. Those who received the revelation of the 17th with openness, who allowed the emotions of the 18th to move rather than suppressing them, arrive at February 19th with a rare quality of clarity and groundedness. Everything is still unsettled. The changes initiated by the eclipse haven't completed yet, but there's a sense of direction, a felt sense of knowing which way is forward. And that sense is worth everything, because it's the compass that will guide choices for weeks to come. But for those who resisted, who kept themselves too busy on the 17th to let the revelations land, who numbed the emotional intensity of the 18th with distraction, February 19th can feel like overwhelm without context. The feelings are still there. The clarity is still trying to come through, but now it's competing with a backlog of avoided experience. And that creates a specific kind of emotional congestion, a heaviness, a confusion, a sense of too much happening at once without being able to locate the thread that makes sense of it all. This isn't failure. It's just a harder path through the same territory, and it's still workable. The eclipse energy lingers through February 19th, and there's still time to receive what's being offered. But the willingness to be present is non-negotiable. February 19th is also the day when the eclipse begins its work of setting new trajectories. And what you think, feel, and most importantly, intend on this day carries unusual weight in terms of what unfolds over the coming months. There's a concept in energetics that certain windows are what's called magnetically sensitive, moments when your consciousness is unusually effective at setting direction. February 19th is exactly such a window. The disruption of the preceding days has loosened the usual patterns. The old grooves are temporarily less established, and in that looseness, new directions can be set more easily than usual. What you focus on consciously today has a disproportionate effect on what manifests in the weeks ahead. This isn't magic. It's the practical reality of a consciousness that's been rendered more fluid and more receptive by 3 days of extraordinary cosmic input. Strange dreams carrying hidden messages. People around the world are reporting unusually vivid dreams in the days surrounding this eclipse, and there's good reason for that. Sleep is when the subconscious does its most direct work, and with the eclipse flooding the system with new information, new frequencies, new configurations of energy, the subconscious works overtime during this window to process, organize, and communicate what it's receiving. The dreams that arrive during eclipse periods aren't ordinary dreams. They have a quality of transmission to them, as if they're being sent rather than generated, as if something is using the open channel of sleep to deliver messages that couldn't get through the noise of waking consciousness. And the content of these dreams, it deserves attention, not obsessive analysis, but genuine, curious attention. The dream symbolism during eclipse windows tends to be remarkably direct. People report dreaming of doorways they're afraid to walk through, and then finding the courage to step over the threshold. Dreams of water, flooding or clearing, or transforming from turbulent to still. Dreams of fire that burns away rather than destroys. Dreams of people from the past, not necessarily to revisit old wounds, but to receive something that encounter represents. Closure, forgiveness, a message that wasn't delivered when the relationship was active, and dreams of flying, not the frightening kind, but the kind that leaves you feeling genuinely liberated when you wake up, as if something that was pinning you to the ground released its grip during the night. Perhaps the most significant dream experience during this eclipse window is what people describe as instruction dreams. Dreams that don't tell stories so much as impart knowing. You wake up with a certainty about something that you didn't have when you fell asleep, a clarity about a relationship, a sudden knowing about what comes next, a fully formed understanding of something that was completely opaque the night before. And the remarkable thing is that this knowing doesn't fade with waking the way ordinary dreams do. It stays. It settles into your bones. It becomes part of how you understand your situation going forward. These aren't random neurological events. They're the eclipse working through the medium of sleep to deliver what your waking mind wasn't quiet enough to receive. Tonight, pay attention to what you dream and write it down the moment you wake up. Physical symptoms with spiritual causes. The body keeps score during eclipses in ways that modern medicine isn't equipped to interpret. Not because medicine is wrong, but because it lacks the framework for understanding how cosmic events translate into physical experience. And during the 3-day window of this eclipse, February 17th through 19th, physical symptoms with no obvious medical cause are particularly common. The most reported is head pressure, a feeling of fullness, weight, or subtle pain around the crown and temples that comes and goes without the usual markers of headache. This is the body's response to what some call the crown energy center activating, becoming more open, more receptive, more engaged with frequencies that it's normally relatively closed to. And the pressure is simply the physical sensation of that opening. The second most common physical symptom during this eclipse window is what can only be described as full body fatigue with a strange clarity underneath it. You're exhausted but not sleepy, depleted but not dull. Your muscles are heavy but your mind is unusually sharp in moments. This seemingly contradictory experience makes sense when you understand that the body is directing enormous energy inward during eclipse processing. The energy that normally powers external activity, the doing, the performing, the maintaining of normal life, gets redirected toward internal reconfiguration. And the fatigue is the natural signal to honor that redirection, to rest, to allow the internal work its proper resources. The clarity underneath the fatigue is the processing itself, a work that's being done beneath the surface. A symptom that surprises people is heart area sensitivity. Not pain, not palpitation in the medical sense, but a tenderness, an openness, an unusual vulnerability in the chest that makes ordinary interactions feel more intense than normal. A kind person's words might move you to tears. A piece of music might break you open unexpectedly. Beauty might hit harder than usual. And the heart area might feel both tender and expandant simultaneously, as if it's been asked to hold more than it normally does. This is the eclipse working at the level of your capacity for connection, widening the channel, softening the protective layers that normally keep feeling at a manageable distance. It's temporary, but while it's present, it's an invitation to let things actually land, to let beauty, love, and truth touch you more deeply than you normally allow. And what touches you deeply during these 3 days leaves a mark that shapes what you become. What your soul is processing right now. Your soul, that deeper, wider, more ancient part of you that exists beneath personality and circumstance. It's doing something specific during this eclipse window. Processing isn't a dramatic word, but what it describes is profound. Your soul is sifting through the accumulated experience of the period leading up to this eclipse, sorting what served your growth from what didn't, what aligned with your genuine path from what was fear-driven detour, what to carry forward into the next chapter from what can finally be released. And this sorting process happens largely below the level of conscious awareness. You don't direct it, you can't micromanage it, but you can feel its effects in the heaviness that comes with releasing something that's been part of your identity, in the lightness that follows, in the strange grief for a version of yourself that you're outgrowing. What souls most commonly process during annular eclipses, specifically eclipses where the center goes dark while the ring burns, is identity. The question of who you are beneath all the layers that have accumulated over a lifetime. The roles, the adaptations, the survival strategies, the carefully constructed personas for different audiences. The eclipse asks all of that to step back for a moment. And in the stepping back, what remains? What's still there when the performance stops? That's what the soul is examining. That's what the eclipse is revealing. And the processing can feel like grief, because even identities that no longer serve us feel like loss when they loosen. Even a mask we've worn too long feels like a face when it comes off. The soul processes that grief and replaces it gradually with something more genuine. How to work with these 3 days. Working with eclipse energy rather than against it starts with the simplest possible shift in orientation, from doing to being. Most of us are conditioned to respond to intensity by increasing activity. When we feel destabilized, we reach for more control, more planning, more doing. But eclipse energy doesn't respond to control. It responds to openness. And the most powerful thing you can do during these 3 days is create intentional space for the eclipse to do its work. That means protecting time for stillness. Even 30 minutes of genuine quiet, no phone, no background noise, no agenda, gives the eclipse energy room to communicate, to reveal, to do what it came to do in your specific life, for your specific growth at this specific moment. The second practice for these 3 days is conscious body awareness. Checking in with your physical experience regularly and treating what you notice as information rather than inconvenience. When you feel the head pressure, pause and ask what you've been thinking about just before it intensified. When you feel the heart tenderness, lean into it rather than away. When the fatigue arrives, rest without guilt, trusting that the body is using the energy appropriately. And when the emotional waves come, and they will come, breathe, move, let them flow through rather than building a dam against them. The body is your most honest guide during these 3 days, and treating it as a partner in the eclipse experience rather than an obstacle to getting through your day, that changes everything about how the energy moves. The final practice, and perhaps the most powerful, is intention setting on February 19th specifically. When the 3-day window is drawing to a close, when the intensity has moved through and a relative quietness begins to settle, take time to name what you want to carry forward. Not what you want to achieve or acquire, but who you want to be, what quality of presence you want to inhabit, what values you want to make undeniable in your daily choices. Write these intentions with the care of someone who understands that the cosmic window they're writing through is unusual, because the intentions set during eclipse integration carry a seed that ordinary days don't. They get planted into newly cleared ground, and cleared ground receives seeds differently than compacted, cluttered soil. What you plant in these 3 days will grow. Make sure you're planting what you actually want to harvest.